Life for All presents Daily Food Series Genesis, The Beginning. Title of Book 1, The Beginning, by Pedro. Week 1, The Beginning. Thursday. What is the purpose of time? Read with prayer. Having made known to us the mystery of his will according to his good pleasure, which he purposed in himself, that in the dispensation of the fullness of the times he might gather together in one all things in Christ, both which are in heaven and which are on earth, in him. Ephesians chapter 1, verses 9 and 10. Today, we will delve into the other questions previously presented. What is the purpose of time? What is time for? Why did God create it? Why did he place his creation within time? Everything was created according to the Father's authorization, according to the desire of his heart. Paul wrote to the Ephesians, having predestinated us to the adoption as sons, sonship, by Jesus Christ to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 5. Nothing takes place without first having emerged in the Father's heart. Consent, authorization, is the desire, the longing, the sigh of his heart. When God desires something and it becomes his will, everything must align with it. The Father, moved by this longing, proposed a plan in Christ to accomplish his will. Having made known to us the mystery of his will, according to his good pleasure, which he purposed in himself. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 9. Christ is the architect of this plan. God then presents in Christ a project that will fulfill the mystery of his will. And what is this will? That in the dispensation of the fullness of the times, he might gather together in one all things in Christ, both which are in heaven and which are on earth, in him. Verse 10. This means that time exists to accomplish the Father's will. As time moves towards its fullness, completeness, towards its end, God's will must be accomplished. Time is passing, and in this way, it is relentless. It moves forward and does not return. An adult cannot relive the age of 18, for example. Time only moves forward. That is why we can no longer waste it. The history of the church has already lasted nearly 20 centuries. Christ has still not reached the goal of getting the church to experience his fullness, the fullness of him who fills all in all. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 23. However, thank God, we believe that by what the Lord has been doing among us, the fulfillment of this is not far off. The Lord has been filling us through his word. The church has understood that it is through the word that Christ heads up all things. The word is the truth, and this truth is Christ himself. Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. John chapter 14, verse 6. He is the grain of wheat that died to produce many fruits. Chapter 12, verse 24. Through his death and resurrection, he gave us life, and now wants to fill us with the truth, which is Christ himself. Sanctify them in your truth. Your word is truth. Chapter 17, verse 17. Today, we have discovered the way to be filled with the truth. This way is immersion in the word, the practice of engraving the word in the heart, which we have even learned from the adolescents, whose love and simplicity devoted to the Word have stimulated us. They immerse themselves in the Word, shout war cries, sleep and wake up with God, transcribe the Word, share it with one another, and thus cause life to circulate. What has been happening with us? The truth has been instilled in us. All falsehood, lies, and vanity have been eliminated. Christ is filling us. In the first phase of the church in Jerusalem, this had already begun. They persevered in the apostles' teaching, in fellowship, in the breaking of bread, and in prayers. It was an active church life, full of the Spirit. Nevertheless, this path was soon lost. Now, thank God, we are returning to this path. Let us remain in it by depending on the Spirit at all times. It is not because we had a wonderful experience with the Spirit yesterday that today it will happen the same way. Today is another day, and we must depend on the Lord again. Did we immerse ourselves in the Word yesterday? Great. Nevertheless, today we need to do it again. The Word needs to continue being deposited in us. When this happens fully, and Christ is heading up all things, time will end. At the end of the various dispensations, Christ will be the head of all. This is God's desire, that in the dispensation of the fullness of the times, he might gather together in one all things in Christ, both which are in heaven and which are on earth, in him. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 10. Many dispensations have already passed. The rebellion of Satan before the creation of man, the creation of Adam, the history of Abraham and of Israel. And now we're at the end of the church age. We're in the last times. Do you believe this? We can no longer waste time. When we are completely filled with Christ, God will accomplish his will. Then the final dispensation, the millennium, will come. Christ will reign for 1,000 years, and the overcomers will reign with him. After that, when all that resists Christ's authority is cast into the lake of fire, time will end. In other words, time was created to fulfill God's will. When the fullness of time arrives, Christ will have been established as head over all things. This is the purpose of time, that God may make Christ the head over all things. Moreover, this will be accomplished with the cooperation of the church. And he put all things under his feet and gave him to be head over all things to the church, which is his body, the fullness of him who fills all in all. Ephesians chapter 1, verses 22 and 23. Until then, time will continue to run. Let us therefore shorten it, so that God's will may be accomplished quickly.